In this video, I'm going to talk about transformational leadership and how we can use transformational leadership to become a better business dad. Hi guys, my name's Lee Eldridge, human performance coach at Cognitive Athlete. And over the last 2 decades, I've been supporting athletes and senior business leaders in their performance. And I've gained so much knowledge and experience to help support those individuals. But it wasn't until November 2020 where I realized I was making one of the biggest mistakes. In this video, I'm going to break down one area of where I support these leaders and how that has helped me be a better business dad. So in that time, I was trying to create this business, but also be a good dad. And my daughter came up to me and she was screaming at me to play with her. And it was a Saturday morning and I was on LinkedIn trying to connect with somebody. And I thought to myself, this is not what I signed up for. This is not the things that I want to be doing. And I thought to myself, there must be other business dads that are in exactly the same position. So what I did was, over the last 18 months, I've gone out and researched into that. And I've interviewed over 65 business dads to find out their challenges and fears. And one area that we can use to support these challenges is transformational leadership. Now, transformational leadership is spoken about in business all the time, but very rarely do we take that model and impose it or place it into our lives as a business dad. Before I start going through the model, it's important to understand that, as George Box says, all models are wrong, but some are useful. And that is just a good thing to understand when we are using models to support us. So what are the 4 I's? Individualized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individual considerations. So let's start with the first one, idolize influence. And this is all about being a role model. If you're looking to motivate somebody, the easiest way is to be a role model, is modeling what you want from that performer. Now, if we look at the 2 sides, one being a dad, well, that's easy to understand that we are trying to set examples of being the best role model to our children in terms of how we act and how we respond in situations. But then if we flip it into the business side, as a leader or a founder, you should be trying to do exactly the same. If you are looking for people to follow you and to do what you do and to get on board with your vision and your value and your purpose, you need to be a great role model. And it takes time and it takes practice. And most importantly, it takes feedback. And you need to be getting feedback from your children, your partner, your wife, your husband, whatever it might be. And you also need to get feedback from, your colleagues around you or the people that report to you as much as possible. And by doing that, you can become the role model that you want to become. Number 2, inspirational motivation. Of course, we have to understand that motivation plays a huge role not in only our lives as a business dad, but also the lives of our children, the lives of the people that we work with or work for. And creating clear visions, values and purpose is one of the main ways to go about motivation. Because if you have a vision that you are moving towards and you have the right values that match your vision and the purpose all encompasses those 2 other things, you're going to be motivated. It's going to happen. But also, when we think about motivation, we need to be thinking, is it a fear of failure that's driving us, or is it moving towards something, that feeling of achieving something? And we need them in equal parts. We can't have one or the other. For example, if we're just moving towards something, then we don't have that fear of failure, we can take big risks and things can go wrong. Likewise, if we have fear of failure, we're never going to do anything. We're never going to take that step forward, and that is going to play on us all the time. So by thinking about what drives you towards and what drives you away helps you to develop your motivation and then impart motivation on others. The next is intellectual stimulation. So we are all different and we all need different forms of intellectual stimulation. And the biggest mistake that we can make is assuming, it's always been done like this. And that's where we need to step up as a leader and as a dad to think about things differently. We all know that our children that we have and our people in our offices are very different, and they have different ways of thinking about things and different ways of moving forward. But if we can step back and create an environment to help that and aid that intellectual stimulation that is going to help in terms of moving the business forward and also moving your children forward to where they want to be. The last one, individual considerations. And this links heavily into intellectual stimulation. And this is basically looking at the fact that we are all different. So you take a big, large company, everybody's different in that. You take, a small company, even though it might be 5 or 10 people, completely different. And then we look at our children, I have a daughter and a son, they are vastly different. Even though they're not that different genetically, they still act and do different things and want to do different things and want to play in a different way, which is perfect. And we have to impart and enable that environment to be able to create the best. But there are some specific ways that we can go about this. So one way that we really need to do this is clear, open communication. So we are identifying and showing that people are different, and we need to be able to communicate with them differently at home and at work. And by that I mean in the different environments. The second point is that we need to be able to mentor them through that process. This can be really difficult or a challenge if we have limited experience in those certain areas. But I'm hoping now that we are experienced enough in life to be able to add some mentorship to our people in our company and most importantly, the children around us. And by doing that, it helps them to develop and it enables them to move forward to their goals and to help them to achieve the person that they want to become. Transformational leadership is not about micromanagement. It's about enabling that person to take responsibility for their decisions and to guide them through the process of transforming into what they want to become. If you're interested about becoming a better dad or seeing where you are, I'd love you to take our performance test. The link will be in the description. It takes about 2 minutes and it goes through big areas that can help you to understand where you are at as a business dad. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it inspirational. I hope that you found the 4 I's in it in terms of motivating, influencing, intellectually stimulating, and hopefully you can think to yourself, right, there's some individual points that I can take away. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, get ready for some more videos coming in the next couple of weeks about this area. But that's all for now. I hope you have a great week and I'll speak to you soon.